Good afternoon, and welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program.
The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
The News at Noon program assembles the best and most interesting news from the area, offers intriguing content for its viewers, and provides local weather for the Four Corners region. What do you think? Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
Well, we appreciate you watching, and I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-hosts are Kelsey Kiesling and Jerry Tope with the weather. Today is Monday, August 8th, 2016. Now, here's what's the news. Reported in the Durango Herald, 6 months after the Interior Secretary declared a pause on new coal production leases across the U.S., the King 2 coal mine in Hesperus received the exemption from the moratorium it was looking for, as well as a green light for exploratory drilling. The Bureau of Land Management's exemption, granted last month, allows the mine to pursue a lease modification to continue production while the federal government conducts a 3-year review of the coal program and its impacts. Because King 2 reserves are dwindling, the mine qualified for an exemption. GCC Energy is a cement producer based in Mexico that owns the mine. Coal produced at King 2 primarily fuels cement plants and the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad. An additional piece of good news for GCC, the BLM authorized the company to drill up to 23 exploration holes on 5.3 acres in Hesperus, accessible by county roads and adjacent to the existing mine on County Road 120. To begin by the end of August, the project is expected to last 2 months, after which any holes will be plugged and disturbed land restored. As outlined in the BLM's environmental assessment, drilling at each location will take about 1 to 1.5 days. No ponderosa pine or fir trees are to be removed, and hazardous and non-hazardous waste materials would be disposed of in accordance with federal law. County Road 120 residents won't see traffic delays or road impacts from the exploratory operations, though both have been the topic of complaint in recent years as the mine has increased production. GCC is executing a 5-year road improvement plan as a condition for receiving the commercial land use permit La Plata County approved in June. The company applied for the exploration license in June 2014. It does not authorize GCC to mine coal within the exploration boundaries, which would require additional environmental reviews, public input, and a separate permitting process with the BLM and other agencies, including the U.S. Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement. Meanwhile, the environmental group Wild Earth Guardians continues its battle with the Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement over whether King 2 is producing more coal than authorized. Wild Earth Guardians filed the complaint in May, claiming GCC is limited to producing no more than 610,000 tons of coal annually under OSMRE's own regulations. King 2 produces just under 1 million tons of bituminous coal each year. The complaint was denied, but Wild Earth Guardians is challenging with a request for informal appeal. A response from Reclamation and Enforcement is due in mid-August.
According to the Durango Herald, Colorado Parks and Wildlife will hold a meeting Tuesday in Bayfield to discuss the agency's declining budget and how it's affecting wildlife management. Both a rising state population and agency costs have pressured CPW to cut 50 positions and $40 million from its budget over the past 6 years. As a remedy, the agency wants to raise the price of in-state hunting and fishing licenses and is holding meetings throughout the state to appeal to Colorado hunters and anglers. Resident anglers pay $26 for an annual license, non-residents pay $56. Local elk hunters pay $46 for a license, while an out-of-state elk hunter pays $649. Non-resident hunting fees are adjusted annually based on the Consumer Price Index. The department's budget primarily relies on hunting and fishing license sales, excise taxes on hunting and fishing equipment, and grants from Great Outdoors Colorado. The meeting will be held at 6:30 Tuesday at Bayfield Public Library, 395 Bayfield Center Drive.
Reported in the Cortez Journal, nobody was seriously injured in a violent 2-vehicle crash on Friday morning at the intersection of US 160 and Colorado 145, according to Cortez police. The crash happened about 9:20 a.m. and involved a pickup truck and sport utility vehicle. Officials closed down the intersection, directing traffic onto side roads. A Cortez deputy who didn't want to be identified reported that drivers and passengers in both vehicles were wearing their seatbelts, including children in the SUV. Airbags in both vehicles deployed. A Southwestern Memorial ambulance crew evaluated victims of the crash, the deputy said, and reported no serious injuries. Just bumps and bruises, everyone was belted in, and that saved lives, he said. The crash forced the truck onto an intersection median and ripped off the back left tire, sending it rolling 50 yards down an embankment next to the Maverick gas station. The crash is under investigation. The Cortez Police Department, Cortez Fire Department, and Southwest Memorial Hospital responded to the accident.
According to the Durango Herald, natural gas production may slide in La Plata County this year, and the negative impact of low prices could continue to ripple through the economy and county government. There are no active drilling rigs in the San Juan Basin in Colorado or New Mexico right now, said Christy Zeller, executive director of the La Plata County Energy Council. While it's not as unusual for drilling rigs to be absent from the La Plata County, it is rare not to find one across all three counties in the basin, La Plata, Archuleta, and San Juan County, New Mexico. The slowdown in new production is driven by a drop in the price of natural gas, and it is impossible to say when those prices might rise again, she said. When operational, drilling rigs employ about 100 people and help offset the depletion of older wells. There is maintenance work and completion drilling to be done in the basin. But as the slowdown in the industry has persisted for the last few years, people have had to look for other work outside the basin because there aren't enough similar jobs available, said Wally Drengmeister with the New Mexico Oil and Gas Association. Farmington's population has declined about 8.76% from 2010 to 2015, making it the fastest shrinking metropolitan area in the country, according to an analysis by 24/7 Wall Street. As those jobs are lost, spending in local communities drops, Zeller said. It also has affected support industries such as consultants working on environmental compliance.
According to a report in the Cortez Journal, U.S. Senator Cory Gardner, Republican, visited a commercial honey operation in Lewis last week as part of a statewide agricultural tour in partnership with the Colorado Farm Bureau. We're learning the issues and are seeing a lot of variety in Colorado agriculture, the Republican said during a tour of the bee tree on Road W.5. It's not just livestock and crops. We're also seeing honeybee operations, fish farms, and outfitting businesses to supplement farm and ranch income. Gardner made stops in Craig, Meeker, Red Vale, Rifle, Newcastle, Palisade, and Dove Creek. Bee Tree owner Brad Milligan guided the senator, his staff, and 20 local farmers and ranchers through his commercial operation, which has been in business for 50 years. Unfavorable market forces, fewer food sources for bees because of monoagriculture, and troublesome biological issues have conspired against the honeybee. Milligan said, "We produce between 80 and 155-gallon barrels of honey per year. Back in the heyday when my dad was running the business, they produced 300 to 400 barrels a year." Mites, an intestinal bacteria, and the mysterious colony collapse disorder have hurt bee populations worldwide. His 1,700 hives are on farms and ranches in Montezuma, La Plata, Dolores, and Archuleta counties, feeding off pollen and nectar of plants in a 5-mile radius. They return to the hive and produce honey, which is then harvested and processed at Milligan's commercial facility. He said the pure honey market is being hurt by fake honey products that are flooding the market. The fakes can have up to 50% corn or sugar beet syrup. Laughter erupted when it was asked if marijuana-infused honey is a possible new product in Colorado. Milligan said he had his doubts, but read about a beekeeper who's limiting his bees' food source to flowering marijuana plants. Then local farmer Sid Snitty quipped, "The bees probably have trouble finding their way home." In a rapid-fire one-on-one interview with the Journal, Gardner had his to say on ag-based laws. He and Democrat Senator Michael Bennet introduced the Water and Agricultural Tax Reform Act, a bill that would allow irrigation ditch companies to keep their tax-exempt status as long as excess revenues from leases are invested in ditch upgrades and maintenance. He recently introduced the Rural Economic Development Bill to help upgrade abandoned buildings and put them back to use. He also said, across rural Colorado, main streets are hurting from vacant buildings that are too expensive to repair because of asbestos or some other environmental hazard. We want to create tax incentives so they can be mitigated and revitalized. Gardner said he will leave no stone unturned in an effort to ensure boat inspections get proper funding to prevent McPhee Reservoir from being contaminated by invasive mussels. On the topic of transferring public lands to states, Gardner said he does not think it's going to happen, but they need the resources to be managed properly and not be neglected. "I think partnerships between local governments to better manage public public lands should be talked about, but the notion that there will be a mass turnover is not going to happen, he said. Gardner said he supports local hemp farming, even though it's illegal at the federal level.
According to the Durango Herald, to Navajo people, the San Juan River is sacred. For trust in the river to be restored, the people need to hear a confident message from their leaders that the water is safe, said Vinaya Yazi, a Navajo artist who organized shows around the Gold King mine spill. Carletta Chief, a Navajo assistant professor at the University of Arizona, has helped fill that role, Yazi said. Chief was visiting the Navajo Nation to give a talk about mining and climate change when the tribe found out about the Gold King mine spill. In the years since, Chief and her team have worked with Navajo communities with a particular focus on the Shiprock, Upper Fruitland, and Aneth chapters to understand how the metals in the river may affect their health and how it damaged their perceptions of the river. After numerous meetings with people held in Navajo and English, the researchers found people could be exposed to heavy metal contaminants in 40 ways. Some exposure paths were specific to their lifestyles, such as using plants near the river for medicinal purposes. The potential exposure extends beyond the recreational exposure the EPA has considered, Chief said. To assess risks, the EPA assumed an adult or child was exposed to river sediment and drinking river water and sediment over 64 days per year over many years, 10 years for a child and 20 years for an adult. The University of Arizona researchers say not enough information has been gathered to say what the health impacts will be, and they don't expect to deliver those results for 9 months to a year. They started collecting soil and river samples in November with the help of volunteers before receiving a National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences grant in March. They still need to collect urine and blood samples to see if people have a harmful level of lead or arsenic in their bodies. The data will allow researchers to answer the community's questions directly. And now, here's our weather report.
For our Dolores County Broadcast Network area, we have mixed weather for today with isolated storms and partly cloudy conditions. This is due to the jet stream stirring up moisture that's now centered to our northeast. So if you're going northeast in Colorado today, you will be in the most active areas. The northeast Utah and northwest Colorado area tomorrow will see a quick rise in temperatures and a corresponding drop in humidity that will make pockets of critical fire weather conditions. Today in our area, if you are under or near one of the isolated cells today, gusting outflow winds up to 40 are possible and brief heavy rain with lightning. Tomorrow during the day, any remnant moisture seen in our area will be mainly over the mountains late in the day, and daytime tomorrow we'll see less and be mostly sunny with middle 80s temperatures. Late tomorrow evening, new moisture will begin to arrive. Wednesday will be our strongest moisture, and Thursday storm activity will continue, clearing up late, and Friday should be sunny. The system arriving late tomorrow will keep daytime temps down in the 70s Wednesday through Friday. From the corner where Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma meet near the northwest corner of Arkansas, otherwise known as Ozark Country, going east to the coast of Virginia and south into northern Florida, there are several areas where flash flooding is possible today. Rains will increase intensity in the afternoon and evening, especially along the central and eastern Gulf Coast. An upper-level impulse over the northern Rockies will move northeastward into the Canadian Prairie and merge with a front moving southward over central Canada by tonight. Once they merge, the front will extend from the Hudson Bay through the upper Midwest and westward to the northern Rockies. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will develop along and ahead of this boundary. Some will be strong to severe. Bursts of heavy rain will be possible along the international borders of Washington, Idaho, and Montana, increasing the threat of flash flooding there. Onshore flow from the Pacific Ocean will help produce rain over parts of the Pacific Northwest through tomorrow. Our average area forecast for temps show a 6-degree range from 90 down to 84 for the next 5 days. I expect Dove Creek to run just a few degrees cooler. Our lows average for the same 6-degree differential from 55 to 49, and I expect the actual to be several degrees warmer. Our CO2 average last week was 403.47 parts per million. Week before last, 403.83 parts per million. 1 year ago, 398.43 parts per million. 10 years ago, 381.27 parts per million. Have a great week, and now back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, more than 1,000 Navajos who live without electricity in their homes could soon get power for the first time as the tribal utility buys a system of rural Utah substations and electrical lines under the terms of a decades-old deal with a power company. Across the 27,000 square mile Navajo Nation, an estimated 15,000 people live off the grid of a utility considered among the most basic for most Americans. One of them is 59-year-old Annie Ham. She recently had a knee replacement, but she can't use the physical therapy machines from her doctors because they need electricity. She uses coolers to store food and drives to a gas station daily to buy ice to keep it from spoiling in the summer heat. At night, she and her husband use flashlights to see. Like many without electricity, she gets some power from a solar panel, but says it's unreliable. Some others use gas generators, but for many, being without home electricity also means no running water. Ham is among about 1,200 people who the Navajo Tribal Community Authority plans to connect to the grid after they take ownership of the system of substations located 350 miles south of Salt Lake City early next year. The utility authority is buying a system that serves nearly 2,000 square miles on the Utah portion of the reservation, which also extends into Arizona and New Mexico. It originally was built by Salt Lake City-based Rocky Mountain Power to service an oil field and has since grown to include more than 1,000 customers, said NTUA spokeswoman Denise Vicente. But hundreds of homes in the area were never connected, in part because running power to remote homes on the reservation is expensive. Each costs about $40,000, said Walter Haas, General Manager of the Tribal Utility Authority.
A Cortez Journal report. Cattle, goats, pigs, lambs, poultry, and rabbits were all sold to market during a packed auction at the Montezuma County Fair on Saturday. The junior livestock sale featured more than 100 animals that have been raised by local 4-H youths. Livestock sales clerk Cindy Licklitter said they almost all sell for more than market value. For the buyers, it's a way to give back to the community. The kids learn a lot, plus earn some money. Cy Lanier, 10, raised a Black Angus cross named Ratchety at the family farm in Pleasant View. He sold the steer for $2,800 at the auction to Ken Perry of First National Bank. This is the fourth auction for Trinity Samora, 12, who was preparing to sell her Suffolk lamb. She said, "I've been raising it for 7 months, doing a lot of walking, shearing, and feeding. It was pretty easy, and I'm raising money for college." Many of the local 4-H youths at the auction have already made raising their own livestock a successful business. Hunter Garlinghouse, 17, has been raising and selling goats for 10 years from her family farm in Lewis. "I've been successful and I get a lot of support from my parents. Some years are good, others are not so good," she said of the goat market. "There are amazing animals, really adorable, with a lot of personality. I kind of get attached to them." The junior livestock auction perfectly embodies the rural value that hard work and dedication pays off. Vincent Conklin, 15, of Lewis Areola, knows this value well. His Grand Champion Market swine sold for $2,400 to buyer Kesey Motors. "The auction is a highlight of the fair, which overall has gone well," said Tom Hooten, Ag Extension Agent for Montezuma County. The music festival this year brought in more people, as did the new tractor pull and fair royalty events. There were more vendors and contests such as the salsa competition and cake decorating, which get more popular every year. I've heard a lot of positive feedback that this fair is one of the best, Hooten says. The fair board should be commended for putting on the best fair on the Western Slope with limited resources. It's a supreme achievement. Don't forget that this week is the Dolores County Fair, culminating in the Rocky Mountain Oyster Fry on Saturday, August 13th. The Dolores County Fairgrounds are west of town off Highway 491, a few miles before the state line.
Few things are as universally beloved as getting something for nothing. Everyone supports free samples at the grocery store, soda refills, and perhaps one day soon, college tuition. Once an idealistic pipe dream of the far left, free higher education is now largely supported by a majority of Americans. 62% say they support debt-free university tuition, according to a July survey of 1,000 American adults conducted by Princeton Survey Research Associates International for consumer financial company Bankrate. Among those who are opposed to the initiative, 26% said they would support making college debt-free for students coming from families that earn less than $50,000 annually. Another 5% are willing to allow it for those whose families earn less than $85,000 a year. But when it comes to putting their money where their mouth is, Americans are more reluctant. Among those surveyed, 48% say they would not be willing to pay more in federal taxes to fund free college. Making college tuition free is most heavily supported by those in the millennial generation, the survey found. This is unsurprising given that millennials face a staggering amount of student loan debt. Undergraduate borrowers who finished college in 2014 are burdened with an average $28,950 in loans, and the delinquency rate on such loans is increasing. A July survey by the Federal Reserve found 29.2% of those polled did not attend college because it was too expensive. Among those who started their degree, 28% said they could not complete it because of the cost. While 79% of millennials support free college, only 64% of Gen Xers and 49% of baby boomers feel similarly. Debt forgiveness is not as attractive as free college, the survey found. About a third of those surveyed said student loans should be forgiven after the debtor makes payments for 10 years, but 40% said the loan should never be forgiven. So, while the future might be student loan free, Americans don't expect to cut a break for those who are already laden with debt.
Reported in the Durango Herald, a local talent appeared on the Food Network's You've Been Chopped show. Chef Tyler Henderson of Plate in Durango ended up chopped, but not until he made it to the final round of Sunday's You've Been Chopped episode dubbed Fried Chicken Time. Chef Tyler was done in by a raspberry sauce the judges found too spicy. Diners know Henderson from his work at Plate Restaurant, the conversion of the Main Event sports bar, which reopened in April. The menu he prepares there includes fusions of international dishes, including Southwest Schnitzel, elk barbacoa tostado tower, and Kahlua and agave pecan pie. In an earlier round, Henderson credited a trick he learned from his grandmother for winning compliments for his fried okra. Had Chef Tyler won, he said he would have used half of his $10,000 in winnings to cover moving expenses to Durango and have to pay off student loans. Henderson is not the first Durangoan to receive some Food Network exposure. Last year, Carver Brewing Company executive chef Dave Kuntz competed on Guy's Grocery Games, coming home as the winner. The Plate expresses a commitment to locally sourced produce whenever possible. The freshest ingredients means food that is exceptional in taste. Signature style runs from Southwest fusion to creative takes on classic dishes. They are located on the northeast corner of County Road 250 and Florida Road. They are open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. and open Sundays at 9:30 for brunch.
And now the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of August 1st through the 7th. An unknown person on private property was reported. The individual is working for the owners on Road M. An out-of-state resident reported unwanted text messages from a resident in Dove Creek. While on patrol, a deputy found a dog carcass on Highway 491 and removed it to the side of the road. The vehicle that hit the dog was located at a local business. State Patrol was notified. A Cajon resident reported an illegally parked vehicle on a county road. A deputy responded and spoke to the vehicle's owner to have it removed. That's it for today's Roundup. Stay tuned this week for more updates.
In today's High Country happenings, Tuesday, August 9th, the Montezuma Orchard Restoration Project hosts a slideshow presentation on the history of Colorado apples from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Cortez Cultural Center. MORP's annual meeting will be held after the slideshow. All are welcome and members can vote on MORP business. For details, email morp@montezumaorchard.org. Also Tuesday, August 9th, a new archaeological history of Aztec ruins, Excavating the Archives, a lecture by Erin Baxter, will start at 7 p.m. at Crow Canyon in Cortez. Her research focused on re-excavating the museum collections, including more than 1,200 never-before-published photos of Earl Morris's excavations. For details, call 970-565-8975. Wednesday, August 10th, visit the Montezuma School to Farm Project Farm Stand, run by youth at the First Southwest Bank Customer Appreciation Party at 510 East Main Street in Cortez. First Southwest Bank will match each dollar spent or donated at the farm stand and will grill free burgers with fresh local tomatoes, lettuce, and onions. All proceeds benefit the Cortez Elementary School gardens. Also Wednesday, as a part of the Four Corners Lecture Series, the Hisatsunam chapter of the Colorado Archaeology Society presents Dr. Severin Fowles at 7 p.m. at the Methodist Church, 515 Park Street, to discuss an archaeology of the long 18th century in Taos, a focus on the impact of the Comanche on Pueblo and Spanish communities. For details, call Carrie Schleller at 505-269-4475. All of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the embedded YouTube replays of the live show and the exclusive DCTV 5-day forecast. If you have an event, you can email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get it on air.
Thanks for tuning in. This program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. on Channel 32.1 Dolores County and now Channel 18 in Montezuma County and their cable Channel 5.
Please share this with a friend and watch the broadcast replayed on YouTube and now featured on the Facebook page. Like us there and comment. We'd love to hear your voice.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. We'll see you back here again next week.